Paris, France, a city of firelight and fury. Centuries of ambition carved into narrow streets and grand boulevards. Kings build it, revolutionaries tear it apart. Artists, lovers, and visionaries remake it again and again. And through it all, fiercely proud Parisians, stubborn, passionate, impossible to silence, push history forward with every protest, every masterpiece changes the world. Using advanced AI to breathe motion into forgotten engravings and long silent photographs, we won't just tell this story, you'll see it unfold. Settles on what's now called the Île de la Cité, that small island in the middle of the Seine. In 52 BC, Julius Caesar shows up. The Romans don't ask permission. They conquer the Parisii during Caesar's Gallic Wars, and the settlement is burned to the ground during the resistance. But hold 15,000 people, bathhouses, temples, and the foundations of what will later become the Latin Quarter. The roads are straight, the aqueducts work, and if you're a Roman citizen, life is actually pretty comfortable. But empires don't last forever. By the 3rd century, Germanic tribes are raiding from the north, and Lutetia's residents retreat back to the a new name. That name is about to arrive with a woman who becomes the city's patron saint, just as everything is about to fall apart. The 5th century is chaos. The Roman Empire is collapsing, and barbarian tribes are carving up Europe like a feast. In 451 AD, Attila the Hun and his army are marching toward Lutetia, and the residents are ready to abandon the city entirely. Then, a young woman named Geneviève changes everything. According to legend, Geneviève convinces the terrified population to stay and pray instead of flee. Miraculously, or coincidentally, Attila's forces change course and spare the city. Geneviève becomes Saint Geneviève, the protector of Paris. Clovis converts to Christianity, and Paris becomes the spiritual and political center of a new kingdom. Churches start rising. The city is no longer just a Roman outpost. It's becoming something. Small, still centered on that island, but it's growing. Markets are expanding onto both banks of the Seine. The city is becoming a crossroads, a place where power, religion, and commerce are starting to converge. And soon, Paris begins building the monuments that define it for centuries to come. The 12th and 13th centuries are when Paris becomes undeniably important. In 1163, construction begins on Notre Dame Cathedral. It takes nearly 200 years to complete, and it's audacious, a building so ambitious it seems to defy gravity. Gothic architecture is the cutting edge of medieval engineering, and Notre Dame is its masterpiece. Those flying buttresses, the rose windows, This is one of the first universities in Europe, and it makes Paris an intellectual capital. The Latin Quarter gets its name because students and professors speak Latin. This is where medieval Europe is learning how to think. King Philip II, who rules from 1180 to 1223, transforms Paris from a medieval town into a real city. He paves the streets, literally, they've been mud before. Not getting sacked again. The city's population explodes. By 1300, Paris has around 200,000 people, making it one of the largest cities in Europe. Markets thrive, guilds control the trades. The city expands beyond the Ile de la Cité onto both banks, and bridges multiply. But wealth attracts envy, and Paris is about to learn that being important means becoming a target. The 14th century nearly destroys Paris. First comes famine. Harvests fail across Europe in the 1310s, and people starve. Next, the 100 Years' War, starting in 1337, when England and France begin a brutal, generational conflict over who should rule France. Paris is at the center of it. But nothing compares to what comes in 1348. The Black Death arrives in Paris, one of the deadliest plague outbreaks in history. Estimates suggest that between a third and half of the city's population dies. Bodies pile up faster than they can be buried. The smell of death hangs over the city for years. Trade collapses. Entire neighborhoods are abandoned. If you live through the plague in Paris, you watch your world end. In 1358, a popular uprising called the Jacquerie sees peasants revolt against the nobility. Paris is in chaos, with different factions fighting for control. Later in 1382, the Maillotins revolt sees Parisian workers rebel against heavy taxes. The city is angry, hungry, and increasingly violent. Then, in 1420, during the 100 Years' War, Paris falls to the English and their Burgundian allies. For 16 years, the English occupy the city. Parisians are living under foreign rule, and the French crown flees to the Loire Valley. But then, a teenage peasant girl from Lorraine changes everything. Jeanne d'Arc,